discuss and talk about biblically, of course, is what are the biggest problems in marriage today? What do you think afflicts us the most right now in terms of marriage?
Sin.
Sin.
It's true.
Yes.
And an easy answer, but more specifically, which sin? What type?
Well, I think obviously, it all boils down to our pride. But honestly, I think one of the greatest problems in marriages today, just practically, is people's expectations going into marriage. I mean, so many people have a wrong view of what marriage is supposed to be in the first place. And if you walk in the door of a building and you're expecting that you're showing up for lunch, and you get inside and it's a museum, there's no food allowed. It creates all kinds of problems. Your expectations walking in the door changed how you respond. It could be the greatest museum on earth, but if you walked in hungry, expecting food, and there's no food in there, you're going to be disappointed. You're probably going to get angry. The way that you respond is going to be dictated by your expectations walking in the door. And I think so many people walk in the front door of marriage expecting that it's one thing, and it takes them 5, 10, 15 years to discover that's not what it was. That was never what marriage was intended to be.
That's great.
I think I have a similar thought in that it's related to expectations. In that I think a lot of young couples don't have a concept of what, like the women don't necessarily understand how the men think, and the men don't. It's very similar.
Yeah.
But that basic misunderstanding about drives and kind of the love and respect thing causes a whole bunch of carnage, particularly at the start, to unpack that. I've been kind of shocked that Christian women, even, that you assume well-versed in these things, are not necessarily. So it's a challenge for all of us in the church. Here's the roles. Here's what your husband is thinking. Here's what your wife is really thinking.
Yeah.
This is how, therefore, you live, the Bible says, in an understanding way. So that's one of the big ones.
So within that, you see there are some faulty views of leadership, and getting to roles. So Ephesians 5 and other places, the men are to lead, step up and lead. So we can fail by just not leading, by being passive and
Nice guy syndrome.
letting her do everything.
Which is my number one.
Oh, I thought you were pointing at me.
No, I was like,
Jason really struggles
nice
with
guy.
that.
No,
He's a nice
no.
guy. You're a nice guy.
He's way too nice. No, I when you unpack a lot of the things that are happening in marriages, at the root of a lot of those is a passive husband.
Yeah.
He's not pursuing, he's not protecting, he's kind of mailing in, defaulting what the Ephesians, the role that we're clearly given. That puts the wives in a horrible position.
And maybe brings them to temptation.
Absolutely.
Sure.
To
Absolutely.
say, all right, I will lead.
If you won't,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
And
Adam and Eve, right?
that's.
And we know from Romans 5, the second Adam, Christ, he was not passive. He pursued his bride. He leads his bride. Adam didn't, and Eve was tempted. So, yeah, that's helpful.
At the same time, we can have harsh leadership, not living in an understanding way, and then it makes it difficult for a wife to submit to a harsh leader or that sort of thing. So I think forgiveness has got to be a big part of the deal,
Yes,
right?
that's great.
Constant forgiveness.
Huge.
And growing. The Ephesians passage talks about the wives' sanctification. As Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, you are to love your wives. And he mentions the church that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word. So we are to be constantly interested in promoting our wives' sanctification as Christ does the church, right?
I think, and I agree with everything being said. I think people believe, I know I believe this, believe they're better. I think Christians by and large think that they're good at carrying out the roles, but they don't always understand either the roles or how it plays itself out. So you'll have a man who yells a lot or tells his wife what to do, and he thinks that's leadership. That's not leadership.
Flawed leadership.
It's not Christ's leadership.
Yeah.
It's not servant leadership. it's not leadership that serves, it's leadership that wants to be served. Same thing with submission. Women maybe kick against that when in reality it's a beautiful picture. So I think there's a misunderstanding of the roles. I think people think going into marriage that they're better at their roles than they are, or that it's easy. Oh, I got it, leadership, submission, no problem. But the thing that I see missing in that, the thing that's meant to help, that God gives us to help, is discipleship. And I think a lot of people go at marriage, couples go at it alone. They don't have couples in the church that look in on their marriage. They don't ask for help, advice. Titus 2:3, older women likewise are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderers or slaves to much wine. They are to teach what is good, and so train the young women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled. So then it goes into the character qualities of young women. But the thing I say there is, what young woman wouldn't say, what young woman would need to be convinced that she needs to love her husband and children?
Yeah.
Every woman going in goes, I
course,
do love
yeah.
them. I love, and every man goes in thinking, I love my wife, I love my kids. But the Bible expects that other believers need to get in there and say, well, you need to love them this way, and you need to love them that way. So it's we need each other. Our marriage, mine and Michelle's, we need outside counselors. We need people in the church. I need men helping me love Michelle better, and likewise. So the Holy Spirit has given us this. We just think, I know the roles, leadership, submission, we're fine. No, you're not. No. So I think that's a big miss in a lot of marriages.
As Titus 2, it expects that one of the ways that younger women are going to grow as a wife is by being taught by an older woman. It's just biblically expected.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of ways to do that, right?
Sure.
There's getting together with another
Sure.
couple, here and there. There's women's ministry. There's small groups. It's kind of nice if our small
Yes.
groups can be, integrated. We got older couples and we got younger couples, and part of it is just watching how they treat each other.
Yeah.
Or when you're sharing different things and prayer requests, and how are they treating each other, and people learn things from
Great.
that. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Great.
I think one of Paul's, one of the essence of the epistles is that humans are really good imitators. Therefore, the Titus 2, it's like I can see that, and it's much easier to follow in those steps.
Yes.
He's good to us.
Great.
Well, that'll conclude this section. Thank you for joining us on the Elders blog, and continue to turn in.